Okay, everybody. Let's see. Trina, it says we are live. And yes, we're a couple minutes early, but we figured this way. If we were a couple minutes early, then if we went a couple minutes late, you see, we get a couple more minutes. So
Right.
I mean, that's how I look at it. So welcome, everybody. So good to see you. We just speak favor over all of us. Nothing missing, nothing broken. We're prospering, baby. That's all I can tell you. And I'm trying to see if Trina, do you see that? Are we live?
I'm checking right now.
It says
Like,
we are,
you're reading my
but
mind,
I
babe.
can't
We
get
are.
any.
It
Yeah,
looks like, let me see. Yes, I believe we are
I
live.
think we are. Well,
Hello.
it's just on my end. The wheel
Hi,
just keeps
everybody.
spinning and spinning around
Yep,
and
I see them.
around.
They're rolling in. Can you guys
Okay.
hear us and see us okay? Because I can see you.
Well, we're awfully glad. I can't seem to get it up on my channel here, but hey, that's okay.
Yes.
I'm live on that one, so that's all that
Yes,
counts.
we're live.
So,
Hi,
welcome
everybody.
everybody. So good to see you. Thank you. We just speak. This is the holiday season, and
Yeah.
however you choose to celebrate it and acknowledge it, we just give thanks that we have the opportunity to meet, to
Yes.
come together, form a little family here and little group. And thank you. Thank you for being part of this journey. And Trina, that goes tenfold, a hundredfold for you. I appreciate you. We've
Oh,
been
you
doing this
too.
for quite a few years, as it turns
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yes, we have
I
been. And
mean,
Wayne, I'm so grateful for you too.
oh,
Seriously. It's
well,
it's huge. It's a huge part of my world. So thank you.
well, thank you, my dear. The check is in the mail.
Keep me sane, Wayne. I love it. You keep me
uh,
sane.
yeah, that's what someone wrote. Says, said that I hadn't watched your videos in a couple of years, and the person said when I came back in, it was as if I hadn't been gone. She said, you're consistent," and I went,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Trina. It has been so much fun, and I'm looking forward to continue to do this until fate or destiny says
Yeah.
something else. So
Yeah.
and I think, and we thank all the moderators, all of
Love
y'all,
you.
and everyone in the chat room
Thank
as
you.
well. You may not have a little wrench by your name, but you're part of the family. So,
That's right.
we thank
That's
you and namaste. And hey, party on. That's all I got to say.
yeah.
Party on.
That's right.
Well, let's see. There is a lot going on. This is that season. They say two things, and it's interesting. The contrast, Trina, is that it's a time for where we seek peace, joy.
Mhm.
We seek gatherings, and within all of this, we're supposed to be able to find that spot. But there's an other side of this. It's amazing to me how many humans choose to take their exit at this time.
Yeah. I've
Suicides
noticed.
are exceptionally high. In fact, they are at the highest period by the data this time of year.
Absolutely. The pressure, commercialism, all of the stuff that's not important, it really weighs, it weighs on people. I'm seeing
Mhm.
people right now having a real hard time processing their emotions and processing these energies that have entered recently. And I've had three different reports this week of people actually they've heard the voice come online in their brain. So we've
Hmm.
had some type of an activation, and they're battling this internal dialogue that's trying to tell them what to do with their bodies, and they're not winning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a
Wow.
good thing what I'm seeing right now. It's kind of scary. So yeah, and I had
I,
another.
I like to address that because it's interesting. And again, I get this training from my days in the church, primarily charismatic Pentecostal, leaning in that direction. And so I actually went to a school that trained young warriors like myself, and there are many others in the class. We were considered to be best stated by the anointing of the Holy Spirit. And our ministry was combating the enemy, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, the demons. And it's interesting because now I look at that training and how valuable it is, because it taught me that it's not necessarily a demon, it can be an angel. The fact is, these spirit beings can be controlled, they can be commanded, and most humans go through their whole existence being more used by them than the opposite way around. So I understand these people that hear that voice, and if you're not equipped, I mean, how do you go and defend yourself in that?
Well, also too, my intuition is stating that this is the technology.
Could be.
Another report I received was one of my friends was at work, and they've been working at this establishment for a few years. So they've been with this family for a few years. They're on number 4 of the Jabberwockies, those little Jabberwocky things. So they're on number 4 with that. And one of the people that's just excited about that one was walked in and almost fired her because she was exhibiting joy. She was too happy. It is not even possible for somebody to wake up with that much joy in the morning. So you need to stop speaking, because it is.
Now, was this a voice or was this her boss?
This was her boss, and came in and did this to her first time in 3 years, and literally told her she wasn't allowed to talk anymore because she had too much joy.
That's a real sad sack. I mean, I don't think you can legally do that, but I think her employer would find.
No, she didn't fire her. She just ripped on her for an hour.
I'd still bring a lawsuit against her.
Yeah, she thought she was losing her job, and she looked at her. She says, "You're the best person I've ever had. I wish I had more of you, but you need to shut your mouth and stop being so happy."
Yeah, well, that's a boss that's not
real. Yeah, she lost her shit. People are losing their shit.
Well, it's going to get. My contention is that along with this inundation of knowledge, information, more than a human brain can possibly exist, to address the thing as well, I think as well that it's the shortness of light, I think, really affects a majority, well, not a majority, but a portion of the population. It's interesting where I live now, because the way our house is situated, I can actually see how the sun progresses across the sky, and it's very low. And this is in the parts of the northern hemisphere has no sunlight at all. And I think that there's a correlation to that. But let's get back to the happy joy, right? You see, I think it's becoming more evident, and it's scary, because if this continues, and all the data says it will, we're being bombarded by cosmic rays.
Yes.
Our magnetopause is continuing to weak. It's continuing to shift. And one of the things that NASA has known, we've known this way before NASA came around, that if you put humans up at like 50,000, 75,000 feet there above, where the ionosphere becomes much thinner, the point is cosmic rays drive humans crazy. It has an adverse effect on us cognitively.
Wayne, did you know that yesterday they reported a crack in the magnetosphere?
I didn't see that.
They said we got hit with several solar things, and it cracked the magnetosphere, and the reports were coming out on that yesterday. 2 different reports I saw that the magnetosphere was cracked.
I don't know what cracked means, but I do know this is that our sun has been really active. We've been hit with day before yesterday, I think we had 8 M-class flares, but they were low level. They were not high. And the fact that I think it was California, Northern California this morning, they had, I think, a 6.4. But here's the other thing. technically, if you look at the averages, we are way due for a 7, potentially 7.5. I mean,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I think all of this is happening. We now know that the astrophysicists, those that are in the business, they now are recognizing that we are in a Magellanic cloud, is what they're calling it. It's dust, is what it really is. And dust and stars do not go well together. It causes, it's interesting we have this conversation, because if you look at the Parker wave, and that's what they're calling it, we have been in it since, some speculate that we probably entered into it about the time the Carrington event took place. And I think that that was what, 1880 something, maybe
Yeah.
a little earlier.
Yeah.
That was the beginning when our solar system entered into this galactic wave. And it's not only dust, but it's also, because dust here on planet Earth and out in outer space as well, when you get dust together, you begin to build up static charge, and it's affected by magnetism. Well, this cloud, and Ben Davidson, I'll give a shout out to him over at Suspicious Observers, because this is where I learned it from. We have watched every star that is behind us that has encountered this wave. They've all gone nova. And now our sun is deep within this. We know the chemical composition of the sun is changing. That is indicative of iron oxide in the coronosphere.
Yep.
And Ben Davison says that we have probably solar cycle 26. So that'll put us about in 2036. That's when things will get very interesting. Mars is now becoming active again. They're having earthquakes that we're now registering. Pluto's lost its atmosphere. Neptune is on its side. Uranus is on its side. Every one of these planets have changed their frequency, and that includes Earth. So,
yep.
And here we are stuck in the middle of it.
We're going through this lifetime, and this is going to be phenomenal. We don't know what this is going to do. I know it's going to be one heck of a roller coaster ride. But
and I think Trina, I think most of us, I think the vast majority of us signed up for it. I think this is like one of these.
Yeah, they told me that so many times. They're like, you came for this transition. And that's all they would say. You came for this transition, and you're a witness to it. You're going to witness it. You're going to transition. You came for this. You came to usher in the new frequency, the new light, the new earth, all this new earth stuff people are talking about. This is exactly what it is. All those planets that are flipped on their side now and they're changed in vibration, there is a new planet there now. It's not the same that it used to be. It's different because
I see what you're saying.
Changed. Yeah, it's a new planet now. The vibration will be the same.
I've been writing, and just by reading other people's what they write and listening, it would appear that if this is what they call a progressional cycle, if in fact, as they, and on the calendar, we know that we are nearing the end to this progressional cycle, I wonder, just wondering for a friend and myself, that what if this may be one of those moments where I'll use the word escape is possible. So now you have this huge gathering of souls. I call them spirit beings, waiting, wanting to be here when that moment happens. And if some of us pass before this event, I think we still get to keep our seat.
I do too. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't interpret that as heaven. I don't interpret that as hell. Those are late constructs, but I often wonder, because sapiens are very new. Some project that we're probably 100,000 years old, but the vast majority of the world, if you ask even a non-religious person, they don't know. You know why I know? Because I ask these things in the grocery store. And people look at you like you're half crazy, but I tell them I'm doing a survey. And I said, you know, I did. You should have seen this one kid. he said, I don't even know what to, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what he said. I don't know. Because people don't stop and think. You and I were talking right before we went on, and I was telling you, have collected books and am deep in this research. And the document I was reading talked about how we literally have to cut ourselves out of this illusion. And everyone made the connection to you in your story of cutting out yourself out of the serpent.
That was so profound, Wayne. That changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
That vision, it was such a deep gnosis. And literally, it's like it happened 10 minutes ago. My child, you now have been set free from the watery grave of which you slept. My child, you now have been set free from the bondage of the serpent. Those words will never, and it was 1,000 voices at the same time, while I had instructed the Lord that this shit is wrong. This is screwed up, as I pulled a sleeping twin out of a serpent's belly that was 30 feet long, and I knew this was an initiation, because it was the first time in my entire life the Lord would not speak to me. And he just simply handed me a knife. And I was like, this has never happened before. What is going on? I was so confused. But then when I couldn't get any response from him, that was when something inside me said, this is up to you. This is your test. This is your initiation. And I was like, as soon as I heard that in my consciousness and felt it in my gut, I was like, it's a test. I said, so be it. I charged straight at that snake. I was like, let's do this. I'm not afraid. Let's do this. But then I walked up to the snake and I was like, I don't want to hurt you.
I was going to say, so are you interpreting the serpent as evil?
No.
Okay, because
No.
that's because people or somewhat, it's so.
No, I think it's everything. It's everything that's here. This is her world. This is her world. And she was a she. And I didn't know that until I got close to her. And it was a she. And I was like, I knew she was the womb. So we are born through the serpent somehow. And it creates maybe the soul vehicle to take on the car, the body vehicle here. So it's somehow, we definitely have been born through this serpent, and our sleeping twins might be in some type of a sleeping chamber, which like we see in the Matrix. And I had been seeing, before the vision of the initiation with the serpent, I had been getting information of different me's existing on different planes and levels of consciousness. And I could see myself, and then I could connect to myself in an odd way, but where we really couldn't communicate, but we could feel each other's presence. And it was very unique. And one of them was in a sleeping chamber of fluid. Like I cut myself out of that serpent, and it was in like a coma. It was in stasis. Then I saw another one of me that was in a VR set, and I had all this technology connected to me, and I was in a chair. And then I saw another one that was standing at a console. It looked like in a ship, and I was operating the ship, which was operating the lower level me, which was operating this lower level me. So I saw 3 layers of consciousness of me existing, running this little avatar that I'm existing in right here, right now. So I was like, what does this mean? And then remember the 3 levels of consciousness, 3 levels of consciousness. They've been showing me this for years. It's super hard to grasp these huge concepts in your brain and put them into language. It's just hard.
No, I can understand that, because my wife and I were talking about this, and it's interesting. We'll be talking more, folks. I have some fantastic books. Those of you who like collecting on here.
And
One
y'all,
of
okay, you can't make this stuff up. Wayne literally showed me the book of the serpent and the reptile, and I'm like, I'm wearing snake today. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. You just can't.
So this is one of the books. If you're into this, we'll be talking more of this, because here's the thing. As you were talking, Lynn and I were talking about this the other day. And the interesting thing is how history has been purposely manipulated and programmed out. Because if you look at history, and you look at, particularly if you look at archaeological, you look at paleontology, sociology of our past, our ancestors, and when you begin to tie that into the cognitive of why am I here, and then extend that into spirituality, there's something that's interesting. Virtually absent are all the pictures of the female goddess, the serpent, and the serpent's realm.
Yep.
But yet, if you do your homework and do your research, and this is why most people don't, because it requires sometimes hours and hours for you to put this together. But when you do the homework, you begin to find out that these have been purposely removed. Just to show you, I just wanted to show you. So these are some of the earlier. So that's the Chinese dragon. And if you look at here, there is the dinosaur cousin, which I believe is the oviraptor. The point that I'm trying to get to is that no human wants to accept the reality, the remote possibility that we are actually reptilian. And so Lynn pointed this out. Now, if you look at history as well, and all these archaeological artifacts, you know what you don't find? The female form.
Yeah.
They hide those.
Yep.
But if you look at the female form, look at a woman without any clothes on, and if you just do this and you look at particularly the backside, and you compare it to the male, and you put them side by side, the feminine is serpentine.
Curved.
Yes. Much more than the male.
Yes. Yep.
The female, when giving childbirth, does something, for instance, that the serpent does, and that is the serpent can unlock their jaw.
Yes, can open up their throat, and we can open up our pelvis.
Yes. Yep. And you were pointing out the aspect of the brain. I've got my posters right over there. Go ahead.
Reptilian cortex and the glands, our pineal gland, hypothalamus, the hippocampus, and the thymus, the thyroid. All of these glands basically are serpent. And that is, I think, why we have such an intelligence within our brain, is because it literally is. It's serpent, and serpents are very, very wise. And it makes so much sense to me, because the fall, because of the mingling with the serpent. See, if we are spiritual beings and we don't have an animal construct, and we're not in death, this would be an experience to experience death. It would be an experience to connect to an animalistic body, and it's the carbon-based body, 666, the beast. Mm-hmm. This is an animal body. So we connected to nature through a body that's connected through the nature kingdom, so we could be a part of it. So our consciousness is being delivered through these vessels, our bodies, but this is not what we are. But while we're in these vessels, we are intimately connected to the reptilian species and all of nature within it. Because when we look at the reptilian, what do we see from the ancient teachings? Ouroboros. That was the symbol of our world, the serpent eating its own tail.
And did you know that the angels, particularly the class of angels that we were discussing, particularly in that second level, that it says that when they have manifested and spoken, they speak with a s.
Yes.
So,
They do.
sounds awfully reptilian to me. I mean, it
And it's so
does.
funny too, Wayne. They keep showing me too. But the gift of your song and the gift of your voice came from the birds. So we're
Which are
instantly
reptilian.
connected to the birds. Yeah, the birds and the snakes. It's like they keep showing me this over. And I think our reproductive organs come from the ox.
Hmm.
So the four-faced god, the eagle, the lion, the ox, and the man. Like I said, they're hiding the most important element, which was the snake. But
Yes.
all those other animals are in our constructs as well. That's how we got this human vessel. It's from all these different phylum of nature that was able to bring forth this vessel, which I think is an amazing body.
I tell you what, I don't know who
Wonderful
thought of
body.
it, but you
I
got to
like it a
tip your
lot.
hat off to that going, wow. I mean, and I'll speak this for every male. I mean, you know, the female form. I mean, who came up with that idea? I mean, serious. No dude could ever. I mean, I figured that out a while back. I said, there ain't no way some dude created a female form.
Yeah.
Who would do it? I mean, if anything, that dude would have given all men breast.
Right.
And then the whole
Yeah,
planet would be, you know, maybe it may have been better off because, you know, we've been playing with them all day. But, you know, I'm just saying,
My
you know.
brother said that his whole life, Wade. If God was good, he would have gave me boobs because I like them a
Exactly. I
lot.
mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know.
He has got the same concepts in his mind, Wayne. That's so funny. I love it. So true, too.
Well, it is. And then you think about, then they get into this thing, you know, called circumcision. I mean, what the hell is that about? You know, if you had this God that created the body, the male form, right, in its perfectionist, oops, I forgot that little part. And you're going, okay, and this is the same cat that created the woman form? Ain't buying it. Nope. I don't know who she is, but I have a sense that she is the reptilian goddess. I mean,
I'm positive of it. I'm positive it. That's what all the Starbucks symbology is and all this stuff.
seems to
This is
be.
the hidden
Yeah.
goddess in plain sight because they have to put it in front of you. Whether or not you can I see it is a whole different situation. But all you have to look at is Starbucks. Look at the icon. Look at her. She's a female snake split at the bottom and her feet are serpent. She's serpent. She's a serpent. So this is, I'm pretty sure goddess would have to be a snake. And that snake that I cut myself out of was female. Definitely 100%. I could feel her. And I knew it was a her. And I addressed her as a her. And she smiled at me and then went back to drawing forth the water. And it was interesting too, because her mouth wasn't like a normal triangle. It was a perfect O.
Yeah. They say that mermaids are actually more serpent
absolutely
than
I can
aquatic.
see that to be true. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
see that would be true because I really
We lost your audio, hun.
I did.
Well, your microphone, it just suddenly cut out.
They're shutting my audio off, I think.
Keep your hands off, damn it.
Yeah, they've been
Well, Bonnie says, I thought she was a siren. Well, you know, I'm just simply saying, if you
Can you
look
hear
at
me
the
now?
whole form, yes, we can.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
messing with my audio. They've done that to me several times, and they keep messing with my voice sound
Sons of
too, which is
bitches, you know.
irritating. I'm like, stop it.
Becca, you know. But it is true. So today I said, you know, the theme for us is taking time to remember. And it's interesting. I'm a big fan of the Big Bang. I thought that was well written. It's because I come out of the industry, and when I find a particular program or show that is well written, they hit their peak at it. But anyway, the point is, I love what they've been doing here lately. They've been doing the reruns, and Sheldon Cooper has been talking and basically doing it eloquently, by the way, of saying how Christmas is, in fact, this pagan holiday. And as he said, this goes back and it brings in the serpent as well. because the tradition goes back that far. I mean, if you look at it, Christmas it's a pagan holiday all the way around. No Christ was born on the 25th. There was no wise men that came in a journey in the middle of winter. I mean, that's suicide. You take the whole idea of Saint Nick, the presents, all of these come from pagan holidays. The tree, which is symbolic of the fact that, it's to preserve life into when the spring comes. And so we've all incorporated this into this holiday. But the one thing I do like about it, though, Trina, is, and how you described it last week, it is also a time that, it doesn't hurt to just take time and think about all the things that we are grateful for. And then my wife looks at me and she says, and so who should we be this grateful for towards?
The light that lives within me, that lights up
Yeah.
my tree, the internal spark of divinity that I know I am beyond this flesh experience. That's what it means to me. The lighting of the pine tree is the lighting of the pineal gland inside my mind. And I celebrate that ability for me to be able to see the things that I've been able to see in my life. I don't know where I would be without that, Wayne. It's my greatest gift.
Yeah, and I am probably not wrong on this, but the journey probably has not been, as one would say, easy, smooth. Haven't found. And in fact, I think if you have a life like that, and this realm, I don't know if you can do that. I don't think that this realm would permit it. I think it gives certain people, because of certain knowledge, much more leeway of, things. But if you're not up here to date, and if you don't keep this constantly going, eventually you become stagnant.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, I'm like you. In fact, you and I have talked about this, that it was those down times, those times when, geez, because I'm not a fan of Christmas. I mean, my childhood, it just wasn't a happy time. Right. And but nevertheless, it is because of those lows, those times of being really, down. That's the best question I can, not question, but statement I can make, that it's made the journey all the more sweeter.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the planet of polarity. And it's like, you really can't understand joy until it's been taken away. And then when you feel the loss of it, then you so appreciate it and you value it and you understand the difference. But like when you're a child, you're in a happy state most of the time until the world crashes down on you. Then you're in despair. And then, you know the difference between what feels good and what doesn't. But this is all, I think, new, because, we get memory wiped. A lot of us lose our memories and stuff when we come into this new body. It's a profound educational experience. And I'm pretty sure that's why most of us come here, is because this is not what we are. We are something far greater than a human vessel. But the human vessel is a wonderful experience to be a part of. And I think only certain spirits even get an opportunity to be in an incarnation through these transitional periods. And I've been told my whole many years, you guys that are here right now, you have no idea how many wanted to take your place, but you were the ones who were chosen due to your consciousness and the abilities that you have to go through this transition to make it the best transition possible. And the reason we were chosen is because many of us have gone through these times before, and we were part of the ascension paths that bring people into a more positive alignment, rather than just completely being destroyed by despair. So we were the eternal optimists, and no matter what, we wouldn't quit. We wouldn't give up. We would always be the hope, the light, the way. We would do whatever we could to be that part of this transition. So
Gilbert,
all of us here are chosen for this task.
Yeah.
And I'm certain of that.
Gilbert said his mom is 4 months, is that right? Shy of being 100. And I was just thinking, so that means she came in, 1923, thereabouts. And so that means when she was 7, let's say it's 23, she 1930. So she was alive during the Depression.
Yes.
She was in her teenage years in World War II, understanding what the world was like. And Gilbert, I'm just talking to you, brother. You know, Gilbert and I met before I left Colorado. You're part of that, Gilbert. It's interesting because I believe the mother passes on that energy that has most impacted her life. I think it's genetic. It's biofield,
I do
because that's what
too.
we are. We're a
Yes.
biofield within ourselves. But anyway, Gilbert, we love you, and we send your mom a bunch of love there too.
Much love. Yes.
But
Much love.
it's the thing I am most grateful for is I was thinking about this. I was baking all day on Sunday. I love baking as much as I like cooking, but all of a sudden I had the strongest presence of Carla. Now, if you remember Carla was I think it was either Norway or Switzerland, one of those two countries. Carla decided that, she was going to make her own exit, and the governments over there allow that. You have to go through a lot of counseling and the whole bit. But I felt her presence really intensely. And what I got from that, and this is why I'm grateful, because as you learn to let go down the guard and you lower your fear level and you have the confidence, the spirits, those who have passed, they want to talk.
Yeah.
And the frustration is that they don't have the ability to push air through a piece of flesh that makes a vibration. They just
That
have
we
it up
can
here.
perceive in this dimension, right? Because they can speak, but we can't hear it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, Carla said to say that she is happy. She
so
is in a
glad.
place that she just said, that's what I sensed. She is at peace, and there's a lot in this group. She went with a great deal of courage. Now, subsequently, after that it was a visitation. I sensed it, and I told Lynn about this. So in between baking, I come in here and I get this message, and a beautiful lady, woman, her husband recently passed. And she wrote to say that, this is really heavy, is that, that it wasn't his last words, but it was within the time frame of his last breath that he had given. He said he became a real fan of this group, this channel. I guess he may have watched others. I didn't wish it was very brief and very short. But he said to tell that Steiger, thank you. And she said he left with them. She said he was glowing.
Yes.
At his departure. So, when I get that kind of things, that just, it number one, you just, for me, I just, tears start flowing, because you think about it. One person who didn't participate in comments, didn't participate in the chat, but listened. And, the backstory is that she said that before he started listening, his greatest fear was death.
Yeah.
And to think that, and when I see that, I see that there are those, they've already made the transition.
Yeah.
And
Wayne,
a lot of,
this is why we're here. This is literally why we're here.
Yeah, I
to
believe
help
there
people
is.
through
Yeah.
this transition.
Yeah.
Some are going to leave, but many of us are going to stay, and
Yeah.
many will go. It's all going to be, but the thing is that this literally is how we're connecting heaven to earth. This is how it's done. And you're a big part of that. So thank you.
Well, all of us are. I mean,
I know.
it takes a team, you know, a community. It's a lot of people, but it tells me that there's a lot of love people feel. I get that they come in and they see the chat room, and I've got more than one comment on this so many times. They said this one's different. There's
Yeah.
no antagonism going on. There's no harshness of words. And one person said it's the most peaceful area that you could see people actually communicating.
Yes. It's so
Supportive.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
special. It really is. This is an amazing chat. And, it's because we've been together for a while now, and we have true love bonds and true community bonds, and they're
Yeah.
real.
They
And
are
we
real.
protect each other and keep each other from harm. And this is how it's done. Moderators, you're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Because you're
They
the
are.
reason this is why it is what it is. It's because of you. You don't put up with it for 2 seconds. You just boot them out and we all celebrate you. It's wonderful. We have no
John
room
Price
for
says,
that, Wayne. No room.
we don't. Says my
None.
dog listens to the show. You know, John, I have two of them right down at my feet, you know. So yeah, they just, and they only hear my voice, but you know, they're very much they're asleep.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. That's just other way. And so I just want to say thank you to you, Trina, because you're part of this as well, is that, you know, there's the opportunity to, someone said, I like this channel because you debate reality.
Yeah.
Reality needs to be debated. I
It
can just
does
tell you,
need.
because it's like,
It's so amazing too, Wayne. You know how, like, when you're doing good things and the right things, and the universe it sends you signals and
mhm.
it speaks to you. And I was given this week, and I've never been given anything like this in my life before, but I was actually given a sword.
Well, look at that. That's a sword.
It's a sword.
That's a sword.
It is a sword. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's got two wolves coming out of the side of the demon animal, or the tree face, or whatever this is. I didn't get to pick it, of course. It was gift. But there's two wolves coming out of each side of its head.
What's
I
the
think that
symbology of that?
what I think it's my dogs,
Mm,
my Cody and my Zodi.
yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that.
my
Yeah.
wolves, my babies. Yeah,
Yeah, I could
those
see
are
that.
mine. Oh wow, the light just flickered. Interesting.
I miss I miss those two. They were,
Oh, me too. Every
yeah.
day, every day.
I can
And I
still
know they're
see
still
Cody's
with me.
eyes, you know, when he's looking in
Yeah,
the mirror going, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love them. Love them.
Well, that is a beautiful. How much does that weigh? Is it a heavy sword?
Yeah, but I can handle it just fine. It's wonderful. It fits like a glove in my hands. And yeah, the girl that gave it to me, it was given to her, and she looked at it and she said, "This is not for me. This is for you." And
How
I was like, "Are you
interesting.
serious?" She goes, "I am very serious." She goes, "This is for you." And I was like, "Wow, well, thank you, but wow, wow,
Whoa.
wow, oh my
Yeah.
gosh." And she's like, "I could never use this. I know that you would if you needed to." She goes, "But it's yours. I know this is meant for you." She goes, "When they gave it to me, I saw your face." I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay." I'm so grateful. I said, "I'll keep it forever." She's like, "I know you will." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I definitely will." But I was so amazed. But Wayne, I got a sword.
And it's quite a beauty. That's all I can
It's
say. Yeah.
it's a big one.
Big one. I mean, yikes.
Yeah,
It's a big one, all right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's so funny. This jacket I have on, it's snake skin, and I don't typically buy that. It was a gift. See, the universe is giving me the things that I'm supposed to receive, I guess. And I don't even, it just shows up.
They say that sapiens, that is what we used to have, is the snake skin on our bodies, you know.
I
It was
believe
the
that.
and I was reading last night, and the reason why that we had this, what is the word I'm looking for? I think it's more, I'll think of it here. The reptilian
Serpentine?
serpentine. Thank you.
Okay.
Get out of my head, man. But no. So, but is because and here's where the metaphor and the analogy come in. We were, as we were making the transition from these bipedal serpents, the thing that was the gift to us was our serpentine skin. And the reason why is that the serpentine skin was like our fur. It allowed us in this transition time, we could go any place on this planet and we could adapt to that local environment.
Yes.
Now, isn't it interesting that they made the correlation with Adam in the garden as a gardener? He was naked.
Yes.
But he wasn't naked. He had the skin.
I think he still had the light body. And that when the introduction of the serpent came into the garden, there was a genetic transfer and it lowered the frequency, and the light body literally turned serpentine. It literally grew skin. And the
this serpent, go ahead, hon.
Sensors, you know how the skin, you could feel everything? That's when he knew he was naked. Because before,
well, see, this story goes that he was already that to begin with. That body,
okay.
Yeah, he was not human. There was no human part to him. He was reptilian in all of his ways. And if you go back and if you'll just read what they're saying, the only way Eve could have had copulation with the serpent beast and produced a child, but yet at the same time be a virgin when she had Abel, would be through the copulation of the coitus with a serpent in the way that they mate.
Yep. That makes sense. That really makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Scott, what's up?
Yeah.
From Australia. Well, good to see you, Scott. We say favorite to you, brother. Good to see you. But now, isn't that, and so, as I'm writing all this, and, I've got the dining room table there and I got the books there, and Lynn said, it looks like I'm back in college again. But because of all the reference, are you there, Trina?
Yeah. And you know what I just saw, Wayne? This
What'd you
is
just
so
see?
weird.
Yeah.
I saw the reptilian male put his sperm inside of an egg, and the egg had the genetics of the Lyran Pleiadian star system human forms, and the mingling of those two species was created in an egg. And I wonder if that's why all the royals always carry those eggs of creation. They always have the egg symbology. I literally just saw that so crystal clear that they created us in an egg. Wow.
Now, isn't that interesting? Because reptiles, snakes, can either give live birth or through clutches of eggs. Now, this is interesting because if the female was more serpentine than human, then you could see where propagation, would take place in an area that would not be the conventional way that a human male and female would have intercourse.
Yeah. Wow.
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 And as I keep telling people, someone wrote me and said, how the hell can you say that? Went off. And I said, well, explain to me Cain's bloodline then.
Correct. Right.
I didn't write the story. I mean, I'm just reading what the book says, it's like
two different things were born at the same. Yeah. Two different things.
Yeah. Yep. And it's like, well, how can you have Cain the first, but yet, Abel, which is, we talked about the eschatology of that word, the etymology. And then you have, no, wait a minute. Yeah. No one wants to talk about this second bloodline. So what if that second bloodline, okay, I'll just put it out there. What if that was the royal bloodline?
I wonder that too, because
wouldn't Cain be more adaptive in his aspect of what the heritage. And to me, I think that what awaits humankind is that when we get this gnosis, that we realize we weren't created by some Merlin that said, "Whoop, here we go." We weren't created out of, some genetic test tube, that we were actually designed in an intelligent species that has been here for 200 million years and didn't go anywhere.
Wow. Cain.
I mean,
C-A-I-N. C-A-I-N. Oh,
that's a freaky thought, isn't it?
That's what I just saw. They literally broke the word apart and said C-A-I-N.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. Wow, they're showing me a lot of pictures today. Right on, guys. Keep on
Paul
going.
Mack says, have you covered Shamaris?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's like, all right, this is, it's like, I feel like I'm back on the radio show. No, we haven't.
I don't think so.
I love that. All the people in there. We didn't say hi to all of you, but hi
everybody.
Danny, Mary Wins. How are you, my dear? Eric, Scotty Boy. I love Scotty Boy's wit.
I do too.
Scotty Boy, you remind me of Don Rickles, John Price, how you doing? Danny, how are you and the children? Good to see you.
Musgrave.
Let's see, S. Lee, Jargos, Kane, C-I-A-N. Yeah. There's something to that.
I know there is. I'm telling you, they're showing me eggs and they're showing me aliens and they're showing me all this stuff. I'm like, what is that?
Yoda says, wandering wanderers. We are, because that's what magic is. Magic is a wandering word. I love that definition,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I like the fact that, we are the signalers. I mean, wow. It's like, that's pretty far out. I'm all over that.
I heard that years ago. They told me, they said, you are a wandering star. I didn't even know what that means. I was like, you're a wandering star. I think some of us are captured stars and some of us are wandering stars. So I don't know. That. I don't know what the difference is. I'm trying to still figure that out. But like I said, most of my information I receive in pictures, and then they'll break words up. That's how I get my information most of the time. My higher consciousness perceives it through images, and sometimes words too, or sometimes both. But that was profound what they just showed me, Wayne. They literally broke that word apart and said C-A-I-N. Yes, this is a different creation because this was artificially, which means it could be a superior to the species that was without the artificial intelligence upgrades. And that could be why we perceive consciousness the way that we do, was from that intermingling with a beast system to an artificial construct of alien species with high levels of consciousness. So that would make a lot of sense.
Would. I want to welcome, I saw Let's Just Think. How are you? Yes, you're a superstar. When you were singing, I was thinking that song of Billy Hathaway and Marilyn McHugh, you can be a star, baby.
Yeah.
In my show. So, because I am a star. I mean, that's the way I look at it. If you don't love yourself, I've said this to you before,
well, our human form makes a star. Our human form makes a star. We are the star. When we put our legs and our arms out, we make a star, and our hands make stars. We're stars, for sure.
Someone wrote, I want to say, catch this as well, because I thought it was rather clear. They made a comment in one of the past shows, and it says, how could the morning light be evil when God created light and said it was good?
Which God?
Well, I mean, I'm going by, I'm right there with you. But if you take the Christian story, so God calls Lucifer the morning star, the light bearer. So, and I love the point. I just want to say thank you. You know who you are, who made that comment, because that one is so spot on. So God calls light good in this case, but over here, what, light's not good now? I'm confused.
Yes, it is a conundrum.
It is a conundrum.
It is a conundrum.
My birthmark indicates I am from the star Mentaka. the
Oh,
top
wow.
star of Orion's belt. I love that, Pearl.
Nice.
I like that a lot. You know,
That's
Scott
beautiful.
Hats, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Binary
You know what?
stars, you know.
You know
Go
what's
ahead. Em.
interesting, Wayne? You know how I had the visions about being asleep in a serpent. Interesting,
Mhm.
you know. Well, you know, I was gifted, oh my gosh, 30 something years ago. I was gifted a star registry for my birthday. And it's very interesting because my star location is in Coma, Bernice. The
Huh.
long-haired female head, Coma, Bernice. That's where they said that my star with that got bought. That's where my Trina star is in the map. It's in Coma, Bernice. So isn't that
Love that.
interesting? Sleeping, coma.
Hey, Cheryl Calhoun, listening from Massachusetts. We love you,
Hi.
darling. Bet you it's cold. I don't know if it's cold. You know, Trina, not to get off topic, but it's about to get really cold here in the
I
Midwest. I
know.
mean, you're going to
Wow.
probably escape that, but
Yeah.
whoa. I
Yeah.
mean, where we live at, I know when I lived in Colorado, we were kind of used to some of this, but where we live here, they're not. But holy crap. I mean, they're talking wind chills of minus 35 to 40.
Holy
I mean,
macaroni.
that ain't
Whoa.
normal, you
Oh,
know.
no. Burr.
Humans
Oh
ain't
my
designed
gosh.
for that. I mean, it's
No.
like, no. You know,
Animals
the
aren't designed
wind. I
for
mean,
that.
that's the wind.
And
I mean,
animals, they struggle with that not to die. I mean, that's
and
bad,
we've got
bad.
like 5 or 6 deer that are through our property and lots of squirrels and, you know, other things. And I'm thinking, all right, but they're actively foraging whatever they're doing
You
now.
want to
I think
bring
they,
more? You want more friends?
what's that? How's that,
Put a
hon?
put a salt lick on your property
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
go put a water barrel. Get a water barrel that fills up automatically like a toilet, and they'll come through your property to drink and get their minerals for the rest of their
I'll
lives.
put that on my list. You know, my
Yeah, my
list is
dad's been
like,
doing that for years. We get the minerals to the animals. We got the salt lick, and it's so funny. The squirrels lick it. They all lick it,
oh,
and
I
they
could
only
see
lick it.
that.
Yeah, they only do what they're
Yeah.
supposed to. Like they know how much and everything. It's pretty cool. So we always put a salt lick out, and we have a water trough that fills up automatically from our natural well that always has a place for the animals to drink if, you know, if they need water and they have a ways to go for the next water hole. So yeah,
Yeah. Bonnie says, Pearl says, I'm a life path 8. I'm a 9.
I'm a 10.
Someone that says, and Blazing River says it's 28 there. Yeah, it's going to be, yeah. And the homeless people. Yeah.
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 My God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sad. I mean, again, you know, you look at the reality of this,
Yeah.
and you know, in my previous lives, because we live thousands of lives, when you think that the average person only lives 25,000 days,
Hmm.
and actually that number is going down. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's one you I go, really? But um anyway, as we continue on with this, I'm
You know
reading
what's
some of the comments.
interesting too, Wayne? I keep getting a lot of information in the past 3 days on the immortals. So
The
this is going to be,
immortals.
yeah, this is going to be
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay. Cool. I think it's a very interesting time all the way around. Again,
I do
um,
too.
yeah, elderberry. I know you live here in Missouri, so are you getting ready for it as well? I mean, that's not the type of cold we want. But again, looking at this reality,
Mhm.
I wrote someone recently. I said, you know, the strange thing about this reality is that it's the only place that I can recall where the truth becomes a lie and the lie becomes the truth.
Oh my gosh, that is so absolutely a conundrum, but
Yeah.
fact.
I
It's
mean,
so evident now.
that's why I love
So
you. And, you
evident.
know, the fact and others in here is that we have the opportunity where we can bring these things that are quote unquote the straights don't talk about. There's a
Right.
reason why they don't talk about it, because if
Yeah.
it did, they wouldn't be straight anymore, you know?
Yep. Yep.
But you think about it. I used to be
Mhm.
heavily involved in politics. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I mean, folks, if this is no BS on this one, I mean, the group that I was involved, we were classified as the most extreme right conservative wing of the Republican Party. And that's who I was a part of. And, met senators, congresswomen and men, and a Supreme Court justice. And I look at it now, and Trina, I swear that was a different reality, a different life, because the thing is, I've lost my ability to connect to that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it's such a poisonous environment. It's the same thing I've done with religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you realize that these things are meant to control the minds of everybody around you, and it stops free thinking, that was what did it for me. Because when you can see people heard, and they heard in a collective thought, or they heard with all these different ideas, or they heard and they rah against this or rah against that, that's the ultimate way to divide us. It's never going to create anything positive. It just creates division. So
Yeah.
unity will be the key, but it's really hard to get past these. My team's better than your team. Everybody's got my team, your team, this team, that team. No, we need to go team humanity, period.
You see, now that's interesting, because in my meditation, and I do practice the occult, I do.
Meditation's my favorite.
Yeah, in what I was told was that I had to expunge myself from that ideology, because if it's in you, the thing about it is you're always going to be divisive.
Yes.
Because it's the nature of the game. I mean, if you're into politics or religion, it's very much like you said, us versus them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if you ain't with one of us, then you're with them.
That's right. And that's how they keep us in war
and they
all
go,
this stuff.
what? Exactly.
And it's not
That's how they do it. Yeah.
That's exactly how they do it.
Yeah.
More people have died over religion than any war.
Oh,
ever.
I told someone that recently.
Things are powerful.
They told me, they said, well, that's not really part of, the true gospel. I said, I don't know if you know what the true gospel is, because there isn't such a thing. You can't say that I am a Christian and that I love God and that God is this loving, whatever it is, they call it the Father. Again, no one can tell me where the Father came from, but I digress. So you're telling me that this love, this love of this gospel is responsible for wiping out a whole culture. Mesoamericans were wiped out by Christians in the Christian love. And this is the hereditary of this mind thought.
Yes.
Now we're here in this Christmas story thinking about the baby Jesus, peace on earth, God's gift to man. Well, I don't know how to tell you, but that gift sucks, because you know what? It didn't do what it was supposed to do.
No, because people didn't activate their own inner light, and they missed the boat. The birth of the Jesus thing, and my consciousness with working with my intuition and my spirit team, that it was supposed to be the representation of, now we hold the power. He is us. We have this light within. So you're supposed to start learning about the inner light and not giving your power to a dead man on an idol. That the first thing, thou shalt not worship false idols. What do you think that is?
Well, didn't the Jewish God make it prohibitive by death that if you put anything of his image on any graven thing?
Anything.
But we can put the Jew on the stick. And this, and this is how we can celebrate it. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being very straightforward. I know it's Hanukkah. I have, great love for that. But listen, over here, we have free thinking.
Well, and I want to know the truth. And I don't care if it hurts my feelings. I don't care if it ruins my reality. I came for the truth to be available. And I knew it would be hard to get to and hard to find. And when you did find it, it would wreck you. It would wreck you so hard, you would never be wrecked so bad. And it has done that. But you know what, though? I'm okay with all that, because I just want to know the truth. And the truth is never going to be one way. That's another thing they show me. The truth
Yeah.
on this third dimensional earth we're sitting on is not the truth of the earth of 143rd parallel. It's not the same. They're different. The Bible's not the same on the
It's
143rd
not
parallel.
even
Everything
close.
is not the same. So
Oh,
we think
Christ.
we know all this stuff. And it's like, no, this is a reflection of this construct. This has nothing to do with what's real.
Scotty
No.
Boy says, how many humans has your God killed? Wow,
Well,
Trina,
according
our
to the
time.
book, it's been a lot.
That's according to the book. I mean,
It's been a lot.
well, you know, if your God can wipe out a whole world, I mean, yeah, that's a hell of a thing to have on your CV. Oh, I see you wiped out a planet. What was your excuse for that?
You know, Wayne, too, think about it too. If we are loving, benevolent beings in a spiritual form, if we were to take on the skin of the serpent, what is the serpent? A cold-blooded reptilian that will literally eat its own live young. And you know, you raise this baby this baby boa constrictor from the time it's little, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and then you think it loves you, and it starts snuggling up with you at night, and it waits till it can measure your body, and then it will eat you. So
That song in the
that would make
60s.
sense how we have this evil
Yeah.
and good, because it's in our body. It's in our body, and we took on the tree of good and evil. That would be the nature serpent complex mingling with the spiritual consciousness. That makes so much sense to me.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
Miss Trina, we have really gone over. Thank you all.
Oh, thanks for staying, guys.
Yeah, this has been fun. And again, you know, and it's true about this channel. We all beliefs are welcome. But
Absolutely.
I feel that
and none
I
of
am.
us claim we know the truth. We
No,
don't.
no.
We're just
I'm searching
we're
like everybody else
theorizing.
is.
Right. We're theorizing, speculating, philosophizing, trying to figure out truth is the best of what we can.
Scotty Boy says, at least the snake told the truth.
That's what they say.
All
That's
right,
what they say.
All right, dear. I'll see you next Tuesday, hon.
Much
All right,
love.
everybody. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. And Miss Trina, it has been a blast, dear.
It always is.
Always
Much
is.
love to you, my friend.